Cyrus Corvette again. I really hope this wasn't Cyrus's car. But anyway, I got the carpet all the way out. The floor is pretty bad. I was really hoping I could just kind of get some scrap pieces of sheet metal and fix the floor up, but it's bad enough that I had to splurge and get a whole floor pan. Well, for each side anyway. You can't get the whole thing with the tunnel new. So here it is. It's pretty high quality. It's actually oversized. It doesn't just drop right in there. So if you're going to do a project like this on your own, keep in mind that as expensive as your sheet metal is to fix the floor, the box that come in is just about as valuable. Because to get it all fitting nice and right, we'll just take the box to come in and lay it in here and mark it and trim it and cut it and get it all fitting real nice, and then we can trim on the new floor pan and make it fit the car nice. I'll put you in here and show you how rusty the floor is. Alright, there's that floorboard that it come with. And if I take the floorboard out and I put it up there, well, how about that? Now it's dashboard. Anyway, so that's how bad it is. First I thought it was just, you know, up here, but it's back here too. And you know, if you was just gonna put a square on there or something, this is just gonna be full of pinholes and cause trouble. So it's best to just whack it all out, put new metal in there, paint it up good so maybe it don't rust. And I guess that's about as good as you can do. So we'll get that cardboard box laid in here and start trimming on it and make a nice template so stuff like the seat belt and the holes for the seats all line up real nice, and maybe we'll hopefully end up with some straight lines, and that'll make it easier to weld. Alright, this is what I got so far. I got the holes marked where the seat bolt's in. I got the bolt there where the seat belt fastens. 2 more holes, and I think we're going to trim it along this edge, the new floor pan, because the floor in this car is still good there. So we'll take this cardboard clampled out now and go lay it over on the new floor pan and start cutting. Alright, I got the cardboard laid on the new floor pan, and now we'll go around this with the Sharpie and lay it all out. The one hole here for the seat belt does not quite line up. It's close, but not quite. So we'll start the first cuts oversized and hope we go oversized enough we can trim it and make it fit nice. Anyway, I got this all set up and ready to cut. It's all laid out and all marked, and go to start cutting, and plasma cutter's screwed up. It just won't do nothing. Put a new tip in. It's just, I don't know what's with it. I guess it's deader than MC Hammer. Alright, I've got this kind of trimmed down to where it's kind of starting to fit the floor of the car. Starting to. It's still kind of a tight fit, but I guess we'll get in here. Now, in here in the car, I'm just going to start trimming away where I know I won't run out of somewhere to overlap. So I'm just going to start trimming along here. So maybe I can get that floor pan to drop in and start to fit, and we can start hammering on it and bending and getting things to fit. Progress being made. A couple things I wanted to show you was, this is the floor pan I cut out, and this is the outside or the bottom, the side that you would think would rust first. It actually looks pretty good. This is the inside where your feet go, and it's just nothing but rust. So this literally rusted through from the inside out. So keep that in mind when you're looking at a project car. Just because the outside looks good don't mean the inside's going to be good. And then this plasma cutter, it was deader than Milli Vanilli. What had happened was I put new pieces in it, because it never works right, and the end's always bad. Anyway, I'd put new pieces in. This is the tip. That's where the fire comes out of. And this is the electrode. And it's stuck again, which is what was wrong. This is the electrode. And this is the swirl ring. Go figure, you'd think that'd be the swirl ring, because look at it. But anyway, that's the swirl ring. And this all goes inside the torch head, like this. And what happens is when you pull the trigger, air pressure comes out around here, and it's supposed to push this electrode in away from the tip, but this wasn't moving. It was stuck in this plastic swirl ring, and that's all that was wrong. So I'll put you inside the car and I'll show you what kind of progress we're making now. Alright, this is what I got so far. I must have dropped that floor pan in here a Brazilian times, and you trim a little on the car, trim a little here, trim a little here, trim a little on the pan, and it's starting to fit down in there pretty nice. That cardboard template, it only got me so far because of all these angles and swoops and bends and geometrics, and I mean, we can't all be mathematicians, right? If this would have been a pickup or like a Chevelle or something with a lot flatter floor, the template would have got her 3/4 of the way there, but it only got me about 1/8 of the way there, but it's starting to fit. This is, I don't know if, can you see that? Right there, that black line, that's where the new floor is hitting. So I think I'm going to trim some more of this out. I want to do a lap joint, but not a huge lap joint. Certainly not that much. You know, there. That's too much, but anyway, I'll get in here with the wire wheel and the grinder and make another cut and throw the floor pan in and show you that. Also, I left the original seat mounting tabs here. They are kind of rusty, but at least we know the seat's going to end up where it was from the factory, which, you know, if I wasn't worried about that, I'd probably just come in here and cut the whole thing out. But you also run into a problem here. This is where the factory overlapped this piece. If you wanted to go to the trouble of heating all this up and bending it up and cutting underneath of it and bending it down, I guess the guy probably could have made it look like it'd never been worked on, but I mean, that's, who's got time for that? We got the floor pan pretty well fitted in here now. If you remember up here at the front, right there was rivets. I guess what I'm going to do is jack the car up and start drilling holes through this is fiberglass. So I'm going to drill some holes up through the holes already in the fiberglass and hit this, and I'm going to get these holes located and get that kind of drawed down, touching the fiberglass, fitting nice. Everything along here is pretty good. Push that enough down with the boot to get this all lined up nice. We just got a little gap right here. We got to try and either pry from the back side or push this over, maybe some sheet metal screws or something. But finally, we're about ready to start welding. Let's get the tape measure in there and see how many inches of weld this is going to be to weld solid. Yeah, 4 miles. 4 miles of weld. Here we go. It's all welded in. All the way around, welded it solid. Stay up here, don't get down in there, and it looks, you know, good enough from back here. I guess the only thing left to do now is start on that side. this side's got the carpet out and it's maybe better. I don't know, but not better enough to matter. Just gonna get you in here, and if you saw me picking pieces out of the carpet and throwing them over there, I think that was missing pieces to the steering column. Hopefully. I know one of them looked like the nut that holds the steering wheel on, so that'd be good. And then look at that mess of wires. I mean, wow, this is gonna be, maybe this is why the gauges don't work and the choke doesn't work and it doesn't shut off when you turn the key off instantly. Anyway, that's part of the stuff we need to address anyway, but one thing to do now is just get in here and start plasma slicing on this too. That's what it looks like with all the paint chips cleaned up, and I guess we'll get in here and start plasma cutting. the driver's side all plasma cuttered out, and I don't know why, but that side cut out real nice, and it didn't stink at all. When I was cutting the shotgunner side out, man, I don't know if you've ever had one of those pizzas where the crust is just like cardboard. It's got 4 times as much sauce on it as it ought to have, hardly any cheese, and a bunch of mushrooms. And I don't know if you've ever had beer where, yeah, it tasted and smelled like beer, but it just wasn't right. Well, that's the way this floor smelled. It smelled like a combination of bad pizza, beer, and barf. I don't know what that was about, but let's take a look at the driver. It cut out pretty nice. It was way less rusted than the shotgunner side. So we can start trimming on the floor pan now. And because the floor is not flat or any shape, or just it's got so many curves, and look at it. Like this just for some reason they put a big pocket there. Anyway, I don't have a good point of reference. So I think the best thing I can do is there was enough left of the old pieces to just put in here like this, and I'll mark it, and I'll cut far enough back that my new floor pan still ends up oversized, and I can start trimming on it and the car both to get things fitting nice. So let's get started on that. starting to fit in there pretty nice for just the first cut. I don't have any points of reference though. That's why I left the back seat holes. For the back where the seat bolts in, I left the back mounting bolts. And the center to center distance is about 19¼ inches. So I want to try and keep my new holes up here in the new floor pan about 19¼ inches away from the old ones. So this is fitting pretty nice. Over here I'm there, it's at 19¼ but the bracket for the seat bolts needs some trimming because it's catching and interfering here. And also I think the front's going to be too long, so we might have to trim the front. But this side's about 1/4 inch too short, so we're going to have to maybe trim on it a little here, or maybe trim the front and throw it in there. But the first thing to do is trim off this bracket, this stiffener rib right here underneath on the bottom side that's catching, and see what we got. I'm just going to get in here with the cutoff wheel and put a radius or trim this, or it sticks up and it's catching. So I'll just lob that off. We'll throw the floor pan back in there and see what we got. And here's what those trimmed brackets look like. And when I was working on that, I come up with an idea. I mean, I can't say it's a good idea, but it was an idea that to help me keep these seat brackets where I want them, I just made a piece like this. And I'll bolt that in to the back here where the factory original holes still are. And I'll line the floor pans up on the front. And then my holes won't go nowhere, so my seats will bolt in when I get done. And then I can get under the car and mark the front of this where it needs trimmed, where the holes need to go for the rivets, and hopefully it fits gooder. I'll throw that in there and we'll see what it looks like. Alright, here's the new floor pan. Pretty well fitted. It's got weld through primer in between the lap joints, so hopefully it won't rust through. I'm putting some tack welds down to hold the back here where the seat goes, where it belongs. There's rivets that go up there in the front where this steel floor pan meets the fiberglass body. I'll take you underneath and show you what that looks like. And here's what that looks like. This is the fiberglass firewall, and here's the steel new floor pan. There's some holes up here where it's flat. And I'm going to start drilling those, and I'm going to get the front bolted down so that the front's situated before I start welding on it, so it sucks in nice here, so we don't have a big gap we have to fill in with a bunch of seam sealer or something. Overall, this side's fitting real nice. This is turning out pretty good. And there it is. One refactoried Corvette floor. Okay, while you guys weren't watching, and what I mean by that is I didn't film it so you couldn't watch it. I got the floor all wrapped up on this, painted, seam sealed. It's done. So it's ready for the interior to go back in, but before we do all that, you know, we gotta get the windows working and fix wires and all kinds of stuff. But let's take a look at the floor. Here's the shotgunner side, all painted, seam sealed, ready to get put back together. Turned out, well, probably better than I expected. Here's the driver's side. It's all seam sealed and ready to go. I think I'm going to end the video here. Check back, because, you know, we got to get the windows going up and down. Got to get these fancy gauges working. We got to chase all these wires here that somebody just, I don't know. Hanging wires everywhere, that needs buttoned up. So check back. We got more stuff to do on this project. And thanks for watching.